Alright, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. It's going to be kind of like a new series on the channel. We're going to be going over every week of the NFL. If you're excited for the NFL, drop a like. If you're new here, subscribe. It helps the channel. I'm on the road to 25 subs. But I thought, I love the NFL season. I know a lot of you guys are here for baseball, but I want to cover football content too. So every Tuesday, I'm just gonna come out with like an NFL recap of that week. So yeah, let's get into it. So I couldn't watch all these games, so don't expect my opinion to be like amazing or anything like that. I just wanted to talk about some games. So Giants and Steelers that happened last night. It was a good game. This one I did watch. Uh, Daniel Jones didn't look too bad. It's just that's a really tough matchup with that Steelers defense. Steelers came up top though, 26-16. Nothing crazy notable. Daniel Jones threw two touchdowns, but also threw two picks. Darius Slayton had a big game. I love fantasy football, so if you guys want me to talk fantasy football, let me know. But if no one's picked up Darius Slayton in your league, he might be worth targeting. Juju had a nice game with Big Ben, but yeah, Bud Dupree and TJ Watt were just kind of all over Daniel Jones this game. He didn't fumble, which is good since he had like 18 fumbles last year, but easy opener for the Steelers, I would say. It was close early on, but overall, that Steelers defense really held them in check. I'm not sure what happened to James Conner. He kind of got roughed up early on and was taken out, so he might be injured. I don't know the full update on that though. The other game from last night was Tennessee and Denver. This was another game I watched. A pretty close game. A really defensive game. But yeah, Tannehill wasn't bad. He got the job done. Times are just so good in play action. But yeah, Derrick Henry had a ton of carries, not a lot of yards. That Broncos defense, that front seven was doing an amazing job on containing Derrick Henry that game. Corey Davis received a lot of targets, so if you guys are in fantasy football want to pick up someone, maybe Corey Davis. But the Titans did come out on top, 16-14. This was also a crazy game because the Titans missed a total of 10 points worth of field goals. They missed an extra point and three field goals, and then they got the winning field goal at the end of the game. Insane. A defensive game that both defenses played well. Drew Lock didn't look too bad, but this was a game the Titans should have won, and they did. Next game, we got the Raiders and Panthers. I didn't watch this game. I can't say a lot about it. It was definitely a slugfest. See Teddy Bridgewater racking in 270 yards and a touchdown. McCaffrey was good. I know he started off a little slow, but Robbie Anderson had a huge game. If you guys want to pick him up, Josh Jacobs was good. He had 3 touchdowns, which is huge for fantasy guys. But yeah, the Raiders came out on top. I feel like this game could have gone either way. It was a close one, 34-30, but the Raiders come out on top. All right, so next game here we got before we get into this one, I'm sorry, I just want to bring up Von Miller. I believe is out for the year. He got injured in training camp, so that will affect the Broncos. We got Browns and Ravens. I did not watch this one either. Just looking at the score, 38-6. The Ravens dominated. I know Mark Ingram didn't get involved a whole lot. Hollywood Brown had 100 receiving yards. Lamar Jackson was amazing as always. Like, I don't know what you guys expected. That Ravens defense was really good too. I believe, yeah, Baker threw a pick and Nick Chubb fumbled. So not the best game for the Browns. A lot of people are high on the Browns this year. They're going to come back, but it's not looking good. They got the Bengals, so that will be definitely a test to see whether they can win that game or not. Bears and Lions. I watched this game. I'm a Bear fan. It was insane. The Bears were getting dominated all game. It was 23-6 in the fourth quarter, and Mitchell Trubisky turned it on. I'm not really sure how, but I don't know. A lot of people are like, hate Mitchell Trubisky. He's trash, but he threw 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter and won the game. Pretty crazy. David Montgomery didn't have it. The Bears' offensive line looks very much improved. They're able to run the ball quite nicely, and there was really good protection for Trubisky all game. I think they only allowed like one sack towards the end, so the Bears' O-line's looking a lot better. The defense played well. They had a clutch pick. Eddie Jackson knocked it down, and Fuller got the pick. But yeah, the crazy comeback for the Bears. Money Mitch turning up in the fourth, drops 3 touchdowns, and wins the game. One of those big catches was Anthony Miller, like a 40-yard bomb to him in the end zone that he caught. Yeah, that's about it. The Lions always seem to blow it in the fourth. Matt Stafford did look good though, coming back from injury. Adrian Pearson looked really good. DeAndre Swift had a game-winning touchdown and a pass, and he dropped it. So I don't know if you guys want to start DeAndre Swift in your fantasy leagues, but I don't know how the Lions blow fourth quarter leads. Like they led the league last year, and they had another one. Like this was a game that the Lions dominated and should have easily won, and they somehow gave up 21 unanswered points in the fourth. I'm really sorry if you're Lions fans, but Bears got the Giants next week. Hopefully we can start off 2-0. Packers and Vikings, didn't watch this one. Crazy game though. Aaron Rodgers went off with 364 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. High scoring game, 43-34. Devontae Adams went off 156 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones was solid. I thought that Vikings defense would play a little bit better, but their secondary was weak, and I knew that, and they just got absolutely torched. Was a closer game though. They did only lose by a touchdown. Right? Can I do math? No, I can't do math. They lost by 9. My apologies. But yeah, nothing crazy. Adam Thielen had a nice game. Kirk Cousins wasn't too bad, but the Packers kind of dominated. I'm surprised how close the score was because kind of checking on it, it looked like the Packers kind of dominated. Their defense just allowed a lot of points in the fourth. Jets and Bills. The Bills won 27-17. I honestly did not watch this game, but I know Josh Allen went off. He had 312 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, and then he had 57 rushing yards with 1 touchdown. The key factor is he had 14 attempts for rushing yards, which is insane. That's more than any back had for the Jets. So if you're a fantasy guy and you have Josh Allen, congrats. Like I was high on him, but he played amazing against the Jets. It was a good matchup for him. But Josh Allen had a hell of a game. I don't think anyone expected the Jets to win. The Jets are horrible. I think everyone expects the Bills to win, and they did. Moving on, we got Seahawks and Falcons. Crazy high-scoring game. Ton of passing yards here. Matt Ryan had 450 passing yards to Russell Wilson 322. Seahawks did come out on top though, 38-25. I had Calvin Ridley on my fantasy team. He went off. He had like almost 30 points. He had over 100 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. That's what I always say. Like Julio Jones always gets the most yards, but he's always allergic to the end zone. So if you guys have Calvin Ridley, I think he's a huge pickup for fantasy this year. I wish the Seahawks defense played a little bit better, but they didn't. Just a ton of passing yards. This offense just went off. I know that Chris Carson had a really nice game too for the Seahawks. If he can stay healthy, the Seahawks are going to be looking really good this year. Alright, moving on. We got Dolphins and Patriots. This was an interesting one. We finally get to see one of the new quarterbacks this year. We got Cam Newton on the Patriots. Played well. Only 155 passing yards, but had 75 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Hey, Bill Belichick's got to test out his new toy with Cam Newton, and quite frankly, there were a ton of new quarterbacks on new teams, and this was the only quarterback that won this week with his new team. So, again, it was the Dolphins. I know Fitzpatrick threw 3 picks, but yeah, Myles Gaskin looked like the best running back on that trio of running backs out there in Miami with Breida and Howard, but Gaskin might be a pickup if you guys are looking for a running back in fantasy. If you had Howard or Breida and you want to switch out, I'd get Gaskin. But Patriots come up top 21-11. Colts and Jags. If you guys didn't watch my NFL tier list, make sure to go check that video out. because I feel like it was a really good ranking of teams. And it kind of showed in this first week because I didn't have the Colts very high, and a lot of people are extremely on the Colts. They think they're going to be amazing, and they lost to maybe the worst team in the NFL. We don't know, but oh my God, Gardner Minshew, 173 yards with 3 touchdowns. Like Philip Rivers gets his new start with the Colts. Throws 2 picks. I mean, Marlon Mack goes down with a huge injury. He's going to be out for the rest of the year. I don't remember what the injury is. I just know he's out for the rest of the year. So Jonathan Taylor, watch out for him. He might have a monster rookie year now. But the Colts lose. The Colts lose to the Jags. And it looks like the Jags were tanking for Trevor Lawrence. And Minshew said, nah, we're not tanking. That Jaguars defense definitely played a lot better than I expected. Again, these weren't games I watched, but I did watch some highlights. And the Jags defense played really nice. Philip Rivers struggled with his new team. But the Jags said, we're not tanking. Minshew's like, I'm not tanking. And they beat the Colts. Like, that is an upset right there. And that just shows, like, new quarterback on his new team not getting the job done. Another shocker right here. We got Eagles and football team. What a ridiculous name. But football team comes up on top. And I think the biggest thing to take away from this was, I keep wanting to say Redskins, but I can't, is the football team's defense. It was nasty. They had 8 sacks and 2 picks. That is ridiculous. That defense went off. Chase Young looking like a defensive stud, but that defensive line is filthy, especially with the Eagles, who already have a pretty good offensive line. I know Lane Johnson was out for this game, but yeah, that huge shocker here. Carson Wentz just wasn't on his game. They didn't have Miles Sanders this game. They didn't have Lane Johnson this game. Both are supposed to play next week, but we'll see what happens there. I don't think there's a lot to say about this football team's offense. Like, Haskins got the job done, 178 passing yards with a touchdown. Like, it's not great, but he got the job done, and I definitely think their defense carried them to the dub, but that's crazy, man. Good job for football team. The Eagles, like, they're in first place. They're the only team that won the division, as we'll see later that the Cowboys lost to the Rams. So, crazy game there. We got Chargers and Bengals. Not a lot to say about this one. Joe Burrow's first career game, threw a pick. Also had a rushing touchdown, though. That was the only touchdown on the game they had. They had 2 other field goals. Tyler Taylor wasn't anything. Eckler didn't do great either. I forget who that backup running back is, but he looks pretty good. For fantasy people, Eckler might not be as good as we thought. But yeah, Joe Burrow couldn't get his first passing touchdown. Got a rushing touchdown. It's 16-13. Last seconds of the game, the Bengals kick the field goal to tie it up, and they miss and they lose. You hate to see it. Joe Burrow wants to win. The Bengals want to win. The Chargers, it's a tough matchup for Joe Burrow, considering how good that Chargers defense is. So I think he played well. Unfortunately, couldn't tie it up at that last second field goal. So a lot of kicking mistakes this first week. Might see some new kickers on some different teams or some guys getting cut. I wouldn't be surprised. But moving on, we got Saints and Bucks. This was an ugly one. Saints won 34-23. Tom Brady did not look good. He did not look good. Ronald Jones didn't look good. No one looked good in Tampa. I know they dropped 23 points. They didn't look good. Tom Brady threw 2 picks. One of them was a pick 6. I mean, again, a new quarterback on their new team. I know the Saints are definitely not ideal to start off the week, but that's a division rival that you have to beat to make the playoffs. So I think the Saints are definitely better than the Bucks. I know a lot of people are high on Tom Brady, and Gronk didn't do anything either. Leonard Fournette didn't do anything. Like, this Tampa offense just was bad. It was bad. Brady didn't get it done. It's going to take some time for this offense to start clicking. I definitely think they will, but the Saints were a tough matchup. Drew Brees looked good. There was a possible injury with Michael Thomas. I know he had an ankle sprain. He's still questionable to play next week on Monday Night Football. I forget who they're playing. Maybe the Raiders. But Yeah, the Saints start off 1-0. Bucks got to get their stuff together. Another upset of the week. We got the Cardinals beating the 49ers. Definitely didn't see this one coming. I had Kyler Murray on my bench because I had Dak as my starter for fantasy, but Kyler Murray had a really nice game. Really nice game. And the 49ers defense could not stop this man. It was amazing what Kyler Murray could do. A lot of people are expecting, my bad, some sophomore slump or whatever, like he was going to decline this year, but he looked good. 230 yards, passing touchdown and pick wasn't great, but on the ground though, 13 attempts for 91 yards and a touchdown. That is so huge. That Niner defense could not stop him from scrambling. He was running all over the place this game. Hopkins did his thing, 14 receptions for 150 yards. Didn't find the end zone, but still had an amazing game. Mostert had like that big reception touchdown in the beginning, but that was about it. Jimmy G got the job done, just not well enough, I guess. Kittle looked like he has a possible injury. We'll find out more about that later. He's still questionable for week 2. We'll need to find out what happened there. But yeah, 49ers defense, what happened? I thought last year this was the best defense in the NFL. Some people are saying that this has been the best defense since Monsters of the Midnight were with the Bears defense in '85. So I don't know what's going on, but the Cardinals looked real good. They looked real good. All right, last 2 games to go over. Like I said, we got Cowboys and Rams. I think a lot of people had the Cowboys winning this game. Stacked team, new offensive coordinator. He's won some Super Bowls with the Packers. They lost, and it's not that the Cowboys played bad, but the Rams just played better. You look at this and you're like, oh wow, the Cowboys back to their old selves. I don't know if that's true because the Rams just played really, really good. Um, their defense was really good. They're getting some good pressure on Dak. Zeke was a beast as always, but other than that, that Rams defense did really good. Ramsey was locking up Amari Cooper for the most part. Like Michael Gallup got a couple catches. This was a game I watched, and the Rams came out on top. And the Rams offense completely different. Sean McVay, like all their plays look really similar. They're good in play action. They ran the ball really, really well. One thing you look at this Cowboys defense is how strong that defensive line is. It's amazing. They added Everson Griffin and Aldon Smith. They still got DeMarcus Lawrence over there too. Like you'd expect a ton of sacks, but they ran the ball exceptionally well. Malcolm Brown had 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like that's so huge. They got a couple screens off to Robert Woods. He had 100 receiving yards. I had Robert Woods on my fantasy team. He got like 15. He was really, really good. Jared Goff threw for 275 yards, only a pick, no passing touchdowns, but the Rams just got it done. Like they got the job done. They just looked really strong, and that Cowboys defense could not get pressure on the QB because they kept handing it off or doing a lot of quick throws. And I think they just had like the perfect game plan against the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys can come back this season. I definitely still think they'll win the division. But the Rams just played really good. We're going to have to watch out for the Rams. And last game to talk about, this was Thursday's game, the first game of NFL being back. We had the Chiefs and the Texans. Texans got blown out. Those 13 points in the fourth quarter did not matter. Mahomes looked good. Only 211 passing yards, not his normal 300 game, but he had 3 passing touchdowns. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was a beast in his rookie debut. 25 attempts, 138 rushing yards, and a touchdown. He was more of a receiving back at LSU. Had 2 targets, didn't catch any of them. I expect him to get even more pass or more targets. Also, there was a lot of the Texans stuffed them on the line, so I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire could have a huge rookie campaign, possibly rookie of the year. But Sammy Watkins was good. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, they all got the job done. That Texans offense just looked bad. It looked real bad. Deshaun Watson couldn't get a lot going, man. The Chiefs secondary really did clamp up. David Johnson, as a bright side, actually looked really good. Will Fuller had a lot of grabs. If he can stay healthy, he can have a big year, but That Texans offense did not look good. Their defense looked not too bad though. J.J. Watt made a lot of key plays, stopping a lot of goal line stops. But yeah. Also, going back to the Cowboys game, there were a lot of injuries. Leighton Vander Esch broke his collarbone. He's out for 68 weeks. That really sucks. I love Leighton Vander Esch out of Boise State, I think. I don't remember. But I really like him as a linebacker. Had some injuries last year, and now he's starting off with a broken collarbone, which just sucks for that Cowboys defense. And then Blake Jarwin tearing his ACL is another big one. I know a lot of fantasy people were high on Blake Jarwin this year, and then he tears his ACL, so that really sucks. You hate to see it, but that is pretty much all of week one. I hope you guys liked the video. I hope you like this new kind of NFL content. I certainly love football. I can't wait to talk some more about it with you guys. Anyways, if you made it this far, I appreciate you. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it a lot. But that's going to do it for me, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one, and peace.